Hello and welcome to Project Vayner episode 79. This is the documentation of my journey as a content creator towards getting a job at Vayner Media in New York City. If you're new to this channel, this blog I have been doing for about 2 years now. I try to publish one blog episode every week, and once every month I'm doing a live episode where I'm taking in a guest. So today we have guest number 16, I think it is. So today's guest is a person that I've been following for about a year, I think. It's a guy that is actually working at Vayner Media at the moment in New York. And I'm super excited to talk to him. He's a very creative person, has a lot of humor in his clips that he's publishing. So before we jump into the live, I'm going to show you a short little video about today's guest.
What's up, guys?
I love you, Dustin. Thank you so much for the ones and twos. We'll be back tomorrow full time. Good show today.
I'm fortunate enough to be working for the one and only Gary Vaynerchuk.
If you film, then Dustin can film today. Dustin, thanks for all your hard work. Thank you for hooking it up with SteamYard. SteamYard, big shout out.
This is pretty much the job I've been wanting for the past 2 years. We're installing the Meritario kit. If you're watching this video, then you're here to find out whether plastic pegs are better off than metal pegs. Long story short, plastic baby. See you next time. Peace.
It was a good show.
Yeah.
There were some really good ones.
And I'm 35.
You're 35?
Yeah.
Josh, you look 19. You're so fucked up right now? What the fuck? This show's over. Unsubscribe. I'll talk to you later. See you, everybody. But the fucking Dustin 35-year-old thing fucked me up. Now.
Enjoy.
How long are they usually?
And here we have him, today's guest, Dustin Lee. Welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
How are you doing today?
Good. Just relaxing
Yeah.
weekend.
Cool. All right. So I think for the people that is following Gary and watching Tea with GaryVee, they probably recognize you. But for the other people that don't know who you are, can you tell us a little bit about who you are and your role at Vayner Media?
Sure. My name's Dustin Lee. I'm a videographer for Gary Vaynerchuk, aka GaryVee. Been there, it'll be almost 2 years next month. I do his video. Like, I started working there mainly as like an Instagram editor, but I'm doing a bunch of video editing for him, and I run pretty much all of his live streaming stuff. So anywhere from Ask GaryVee to GaryVee Audio Experience to right now Tea with GaryVee as we're in quarantine.
How long have you done Tea with GaryVee now?
So the first episode was on March 23rd, I think, 2020. So yeah, pretty much every single day since then, except certain days where Gary he has business stuff, so then he just has to cancel it. But yeah, so almost 2 months.
Right. Is it Monday to Friday, right?
Yep, Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern time.
Right. How is it going, by the way, to work from home with this whole content creation thing and not being able to meet each other?
I mean, it's stressful, but I like it a lot just because I don't have to wake up as early because the commute. There's no more commute, so that's good. Definitely took a lot to learn to adapt to everything at first because I just I never knew how to do a video conference really. Like, I've done one time with one of my friends, but that's about it. So just having to quickly learn how to figure all this out was a cool experience. It was stressful, but now that I know how to do it, it's fun. Like I like it a lot.
Right. And you said you started creating Instagram content when you started there. So can you tell us a little bit about how you got the job there?
Yeah. So it first started off, they put out a video in like late September 2017. It was called like looking for content creators. It was a YouTube video that D-Rock put out, and there was a description in the link. Clicked it, applied, got rejected. Then like maybe a couple months later, I think there was another one where they were looking for people, and I applied again, got rejected. Then around like February 2018, I got an email from, I think, Andy, asking me to like come in for a video interview, or not a video, just the in-person interview. I went there, just met with him, met with Seth and Iris. Iris was there at the time. Gave me a homework assignment to pretty much do like a quick video edit. I sent it back next day. Never heard from him again. I was like, crap. Am I allowed to curse on this thing?
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Yeah, I was like, fuck, I guess I fucked up. Yeah. So then I kind of like lost hope. And then I hit up maybe Andy like one more time after that. Didn't hear from him. Then June of 2018. So I have like a YouTube channel doing like BMX content. So I was out one day trying to do a tutorial, and I get a call from Andy. He says, "Hey, are you still interested in the job?" I was like, "Sure." And he's like, "Can you come in tomorrow?" I was like, "Okay." So then next day, just started working for Gary. I thought I was being hired to like do like YouTube editing, like for GaryVee and stuff like that, but it was mainly. Then I found out it was mainly for his Instagram. So then, first couple months, started working on like making Instagram clips for Gary. And Facebook, like pretty much just his social media, like his other social media, like other than YouTube. And then, yeah, just went from there, and then just kept evolving. Every day is like, or every month almost is like something different. So then we just always doing different stuff.
Right. What are the type of content you enjoy most doing?
For Gary, I mean, I like everything, but like, I guess for me at least, when there's just something that is just a whatever video and I have a lot of time and I could like that, I mean, that is one thing about Gary that I like really enjoy, is just there's a lot of freedom. Like you're pretty much allowed to do whatever you want. As far as like your creativity, like he's not like, oh, we have to do it this way. He's never like, no, we need to do it this way. Like he's like, if you give him an idea, like he's like, yeah, go ahead, try it out. So like I feel like I brought the whole meme style a little bit more to his stuff, because I just like comedy, and it was just one thing I noticed from his account that like wasn't really like predominant, like didn't really see too many funny things on there. So I tried to like incorporate that a little bit more into like whatever, either through visual aids or just movie scenes. Like I'm like that typical movie quote guy that just watched way too many movies when I was a little kid and just like knows stupid lines from every movie. So yeah, that's how I kind of like try to like just incorporate my style, I guess you could say, into Gary content.
I heard you had like a Seinfeld account.
Yeah, so that's also kind of how I got hired. I think like I never actually asked Andy directly, but in 2014 I created a Seinfeld-based meme account called Costanzagrams on Instagram. It was originally just George Costanza, like the character from Seinfeld, just one post a day, just of a scene from the show. Then it eventually evolved into a meme account where like I was just like pretty much memes, but using only Seinfeld content. I grew that account to about, I think it was around 300,000 followers at the time when I first got hired. And I think Andy saw, like, I put that on my resume, which is kind of weird now that I think about it, but I think Andy saw that I knew how to make Instagram content. So then he gave me a shot. And because I pretty much, I mean, I built that all on my own. I was the only person creating behind that. So then because I had that as kind of like my portfolio, Andy gave me a shot of doing that. I mean, the account now is just under 500,000, which is awesome. Like,
that's crazy.
But yeah, so yeah, I just make. I always like making memes, I guess you could say.
Yeah. So how, like, when you're creating this in your work right now, how, I'm curious, like, how your days looks like, if you have like a schedule of now I'm gonna do this and this and this, or is it more like you have a meeting and you're brainstorming and then you're like, someone starts something and another person finish something? Like, how does the structure of your work look like when creating content?
So it's changed, like, since I've been working there, it's changed a lot. But right now, I mainly work again on Instagram stuff. We pretty much split all the videographers into like platforms. So like I work on Instagram, Jason works on YouTube. Well, I mean, that was the plan until the whole quarantine thing happened. But as far as like clips, I'm pretty much, I mean, for now at least, with GaryVee, people on the team watch the episode like during that day, take notes, pretty much like, oh, this clip would be good, so that, or this clip would be good, or whatever. They take notes. We have the system called Asana, where I'm not really sure where it's available, but it's just like a work, like organization thing,
right?
Where we issue tickets to each other and like assignments. So, for example, Zane would assign to me this clip with Jake from today's Tea with GaryVee, and just gives me the timestamps, and that's pretty much it. Like as far as how it's assigned, like once I get the assignment, I just kind of go with whatever I want to, like as far as my own creativity or style or whatever. So yeah, that's pretty much how it works for everyone now. Like we just assign things and just go and just make as much as we can.
Cool. So you get like a list of this is valuable pieces from an episode or a speak or something, and then you like have the creativity to put the graphic touch on it or edit it how you want it.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and I mean, sometimes there other things pop up, like not only necessarily from Tea with GaryVee, like I think Jim on our team, he's like kind of our content strategist, and he talks to Gary a lot. And Gary's like, oh, actually, we should, like, recently Gary wanted, like, why I was watching DailyVee over the weekend from number one, and Gary recently wanted, like, he wanted to like people to just look at all the old stuff and try to pull some stuff from the old stuff that he may have missed back in the day. So like we're doing that now. I just kind of did it for fun on my own, because I just like finding little things sometimes that, like, I've found things in our footage where I was like, hey, how come we didn't use this? And so then
yeah, I guess that's something that is good to do once in a while, because it's so much footage and it's easy to miss stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, like, I mean, I'm guilty of that too. Like, I've watched footage and I was like, and then maybe a week later someone else found something, I was like, oh, the hell, why didn't I think of that? Like, it's just because there's so much content that it just kind of goes over your head sometimes.
Do you know whose idea it was to create the GaryVee search engine?
I think it was Andy's. I'm not sure. It might have been Gary too, but
it's a pretty cool idea.
The problem, I mean, it started off because it was a problem for us. Like we couldn't find, like we're like, oh, when was that time that Gary said this? And we're like, I don't know. So then they just started building it. I think they started making it before I even started there, or like right when I started there, because we had like a different version of it that wasn't open to the public. It was just kind of for us, and that evolved into the GaryVee search engine.
That's pretty cool. I actually used it yesterday when I was doing this introduction video of you.
Nice.
Was typing in Dustin and I got a lot of
Really?
a lot of stuff there. But there was also like people calling in to ask GaryVee that was named Dustin and stuff. So
Right.
I had to sort out some different stuff.
Yeah.
But like in your work, in your role at Vayner Media, what what type of equipment or softwares do you use like every day?
Post or pre-quarantine?
Mm.
Like before or after, like right now? It's kind of different now because
Yeah.
I'm at home. So
I think you if you can say how you're doing it right now, I think that could be valuable for people watching and that maybe wants to create something themselves.
So I mean, I'm just using my laptop. Well, the work laptop. It's a MacBook Pro. It's pretty hot. Like it's one of the more. I don't know specs very well, but I know it runs really good now. As far as like how I'm doing Tea with GaryVee, it's all done on StreamYard.com. It's all web-based. It's basically a combination of Zoom, Restream, and OBS. Like you don't need any other software. So it's almost very close to being frictionless. So we just send out a link to someone and they just open it up on their computer or their phone and they can just join the call or whatever. Right. It's really easy to use. I like it just for that. I mean, there's something limitations on it. Like it's not 100% customizable or anything, but very useful. I just have like really good, like I have a hardwired internet to my laptop because there's just a lot of data coming through all the time. And that's pretty much it. Like nothing fancy, nothing too out of the ordinary, and just these like Apple earphones from like 6 years ago or something.
Yeah. And do you use is it Premiere for editing?
Yeah. So yeah, I just use Adobe Premiere to do my video editing. Sometimes I do Audition for like audio stuff, but I do mostly my audio editing in Premiere. I think that's really it. Like I don't use too much other software. Like I don't know how to use After Effects.
So even like for the micro content, you're also doing it in Premiere.
Yeah, it's just it's easier. I mean, I'm used to it. I mean, it's only really because of the captioning. If I could, like, I could probably do everything on my phone. It's just a little bit harder, like a little harder to get like precise things. Like, so for instance, like Gary's Instagram, we put a thumbnail on every video. So like but essentially all it is one frame from the video on the timeline. That way, that is the first thing you see as far as like on his bio. But the video is just like you just see it for like a split second because it's only one frame on the video. But that is, I mean, a thumbnail does matter, especially like on an explore page. If someone just comes through and like wants to see, like randomly see something. So that is the only reason really. Like there's a couple little just reasons why I can't do it on my phone, but it's not like impossible to do on your phone either.
And do you have like, do you start every project from scratch, or do you have like a template project file that you're copying and then like sequence that's saved in that? Or
I'm pretty much doing everything from scratch. The only thing I like have little preset type of stuff is just like a white header for the top, Gary's signature, and like that green thing at the end with the phone for the CTA.
Right.
Everything else is pretty much from scratch because I mean I probably should make a template just because like I am probably wasting a lot of time making that every single time. I just haven't had the time to actually do it, but yeah, it probably is a good idea to make a template or something, especially because the style is usually the same all the time. Not always, but close. So yeah, I probably should do that.
I'm also thinking, like, I know you guys experiment with different formats and different design and stuff, so maybe it's hard also to like have a template if you're still going away from it a lot of times.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, just that white header is like the only thing that's kind of standard. But yeah, like we try to they make things look different because otherwise it gets kind of stale and boring sometimes. But at the same time, like just that whole meme title style for Instagram at least is all that really needs. Like sometimes less is more.
Right. So for other like content creators that want to create more stuff and maybe even apply the GaryVee content model, do you have like a recommendations of where they can start if they are just coming into this?
Do you mean in like making content for themselves or for other people?
I'm thinking for themselves, like even
Okay.
if companies wants to start with that right now because maybe they can't take in a videographer to film something and they want to still produce some kind of video content and share. What would you suggest for them to like get started on social media platforms creating video content about the knowledge that they have?
I guess making just, I mean, what I would do, like, let's say you wanted to work for Gary, is just go to his YouTube, pull all the footage you can. I mean, sometimes it's hard because there's B-roll on top of footage, but just try to work with whatever you can. I guess, like, in a way, copy our style if you wanted to. But I guess try to get a sense of like the style that the person likes or like whoever you're making it for. Obviously,
Right.
some people like fancy stuff a little bit more than others. But like, let's say you wanted to make content for a comedian or something like that. They probably don't care how fancy it is. They just want it to look good. But also you have to consider like the platform. So like, for instance, I think YouTube is a better place if you're trying to like really make really nice visual stuff or just telling a real story, like a full story.
Right.
Versus like Instagram, where it's like it's going to be hard to like catch someone's attention and keep their attention on there. So like for me at least, I edit a lot of Gary's things like quicker and like to the point almost. Like I don't like it to drag out too much. Because I've made content, showed it to a colleague to like see what they thought, and I was watching him watching it, and I could tell like at 30 seconds he was getting bored, and I was like, okay, what was that? And then I rewatched it. I'm like, okay, so that part was just too long. Like he didn't care, like he just lost interest at that point. So it's just something you have to like think about. But like I said, the platform matters because even me, when I was watching something of Gary's the other day, when I watched it on my TV on YouTube, like it's almost like you're investing your time to like willing to watch something for that long. So that mentality is different than on Instagram, where it's like, okay, you just came on my page, you got 3 seconds to like make me not want to swipe up. So it's just something to think about as far as what platform you're trying to make the content for. Figuring out the person's style, I think that's important. I mean, I'm lucky with Gary because Gary doesn't care. Like he doesn't care about what style. So that's, but if I had to start all over, I would try to consume what that person has made so far, and try to just like adapt to it. If they haven't made any content, then you're kind of, I mean, you can do whatever you want, I guess, because like you're just in a free world where you can feel, I mean, you have nothing to base, they have nothing to base off, you have nothing to base off. So it's like, just start making something. But then if that is the case, try to consider the platform that you're making it for. I guess another thing that I just personally recommend is not getting married to an idea. Like, don't get too attached to something. As far as like, someone sent me something recently where there was a beautiful drone shot first thing, but it was like 20 seconds long, and this is for Instagram, and it's like, okay, I don't care anymore. Like, this is too long. So like, you just kind of like, but I understand, because like they really like that shot and they want to show that shot. I understand that, but you have to think of it as someone else. Like, you have to think of it from, not from your point of view, someone else's point of view that probably doesn't care about that drone shot that much. They want to get to that point quick. Like, I want to know what this story is about. And that's where also, like, I think TikTok is really interesting at. Like, I've watched videos on there where like something's taking too long. I'm like, all right, I don't want to watch this anymore. But I've also watched videos where it's like, it is taking too long, but something in that content is making me want to be like, what's going to happen next? Like, even if it's slow, my mentality is like, what's about to happen here? So then I keep watching. So that is also something you should try to like figure out.
To like keep the interest throughout the video.
Exactly. And I know sometimes that can be hard because you're like, you just love whatever that footage is. Like, I've had it like where like I'm editing Gary's stuff and there was a sentence that I really liked that he said, but it's like not flowing right, or just taking too long to get there, or it just doesn't make any sense, even though I really liked that little phrase that he said. But I'm just like, fuck, like, I'm just gonna take it out. Like, it's gonna ruin everything. It's not gonna make sense anymore. So it's like, even though it's a powerful sentence sometimes, or phrase, I just like, fuck it, just trash it, because it's not gonna make any sense. Or it's just, yeah. So just don't get too attached to something.
I guess that's like what he has been talking about also with the context. That like a message can be powerful if it's in the right context, then you understand like the whole picture of it, then it makes sense.
Right.
I've realized myself sometimes when I'm editing, I'm like, if I'm doing a vlog, for example, and I'm taking away too many parts from the vlog, then it's like micro pieces left, and putting only them together, you kind of lose the whole
the context.
Yeah, the whole context. So it's kind of, you know yourself when you're filming this, like what happened that day, but if you don't see it in that situation, you kind of, so yeah, I think that's super important to think about the person that is watching.
There's like there's a balance between that, like balance between too much context and not enough context. Like, and I think rewatching stuff a lot, sometimes after I edit something, I kind of walk away, try to like get it out of my head just for a second, not out of stress, just to like go pretty much start from zero, rewatch it again, and then try to go in like with zero context and to see if it still makes sense. Sometimes I'm like, crap, that it doesn't make any sense anymore. Like, I cut too much, so then I have to like undo stuff and add a little bit more. So yeah, that is pretty important also.
I heard recently, I think it was from Tim Schmoyer in his podcast, that he said that because people has been asking how long should I make a video, and he said like, you should make it as long as you need to tell the story that you want to tell.
For sure.
And I think that's applicable to like basically every platform also. Yeah.
I mean, if you could tell your story in 20 seconds, that's a good 20 seconds. If your story takes 20 minutes, but it only needed 20 seconds, then that's can be pretty bad.
Yeah.
But the other way works too. Like, you can make something super long, but as long as it's not drawn out and making sense, I don't think there's anything wrong with that either. Like, look at Gary's 10-hour vlog, like just because that idea, like people wanted to see the entire day, people still watched it, even though it was 10 hours long. But that at the same time, like things on TikTok, I think ideally works well within like the 25-second area. And that if that tells a good enough story for that one post, that's a great story too. So it's like it's definitely a learning thing, and you gotta like find the right balance.
Yeah. I was thinking about the WeeklyVee that you're doing now. Is it just one person doing that, or are you like switching between every episode who's editing and who's filming that? And is it also always the same person who's filming that is also editing?
Editing is pretty much 99% of the time it's Jason. Like Jason has been editing every single one for this year since we started it in like January. But with the quarantine, that happened in March. So like he only had like 2 full months of doing that. Since then, I don't think anyone else has edited for it. We were about to, like Caleb was really wanting to do it. So we were just about to like switch, but then the quarantine happened and then it didn't happen. As far as filming, it's mainly Jason filming, but there were times where I was filming, Dania was filming, Sherelle was filming, Caleb was filming. D-Rock would only film really when Gary was traveling with him, because D-Rock's like, he's like a really good really organized and really good assistant in a way. Like if you ever watch some of the older Daily V's, like Gary's always yelling at D-Rock like, what's next? So where am I going? Where am I going? And D-Rock's really good at that.
Right.
Where I think that's why I haven't traveled with Gary, because I don't know that whole system as well as D-Rock does, and Caleb's good at it too. So yeah, like filming rotates, but editing has been Jason for the most part.
That's something that it's very easy to forget. Like when he has a busy schedule and a lot of stuff to do, and someone is following him around to make sure that you're actually going to the right place at the right time.
You're his personal assistant and filming. It's hard. It's really hard to like be on top of all that. Like you're a real director, like all by yourself.
Is it also like the impression that I've got from watching the Daily V episodes, that he's like, Gary's like having 5 to 10 minutes meeting, and it's like running between meetings, and if you want to talk with him, you'll get like 3 minutes next week or 2 weeks from now or something?
Yeah, if you're lucky. Yeah, Gary has a lot of meetings. Like if you could see his calendar, you're just like, what the hell is this? Like he has, I don't know how he does it. Like he does, I rarely see him eat. I think he only does like dinner maybe, and maybe a early breakfast. Yeah, he's a machine. I don't know how he does it.
How is it overall to work at Vayner Media? I know there is like a lot of creative and ambitious people, and I get the impression that a lot of the people in Team GaryVee is often staying later and working on stuff. And do you feel that you get influenced by being in that environment?
Definitely. Like I'm not the best hard worker. Like before I started working there, like I mean, maybe it's also because I wasn't working somewhere where like I was enjoying what I was doing. So that could be a play. Like I do really like editing. It's just when I have the right time for it, at least. But being there with the team and seeing other people working really hard, like makes me want to work just as hard as them. It is like motivating in a way, but it can also be very stressful when it comes like too much. But it's not like Gary forces us to stay or anything. It's just more of a like our own personal like wanting to get it done. I think a lot of people like are like that. They just want to get something finished before the next day. Because especially I think a lot of videographers can understand that. Like you just want to get a project done instead of like having it linger for too long and then kind of like lose momentum.
Yeah, exactly. I definitely recognize that feeling. Like I feel like when I jump into editing and start with something, it takes like 20 minutes to get into the right mindset, and then you don't want to just drop it, because then you need like 20 minutes more to get back at it.
Right. Yeah, that happens to me all the time. So I think everyone can relate to that.
Yeah. So how has it worked to, like, how do you feel personally to work from home right now? Is it a lot harder, or do you think it's quite nice to work from home, or what's your personal opinion?
I mean, I like it. I'm kind of an introvert, really, like personally. So like, even when I was at the office, I kind of like just was on my own. I didn't really socialize too much. I just kind of like put my head down and just like worked on whatever I'm working on. So it's not that much different at home. I mean, I live with my girlfriend, so I mean, she's in the separate room, and I'm just over here in my area. But yeah, I don't mind it at all. Like as far as it was hard at first because they had like an old laptop and it was just running like shit. But then they gave me a new one because they knew that I kind of needed one, and it's flowing so much better. Like speed is way easier. Internet's good. Like I don't have to get dressed or ready or anything. I don't have to go on the train. So yeah, like I kind of like it. I mean, I do miss my coworkers and stuff. I wish we could like I do like just saying hi and stuff like that. But yeah, like it hasn't been the worst thing for me.
Right. What do you think? What is like the worst or the hardest part of content creation for you personally?
I think for me, well, one thing is time. I just like after I'm done working, I kind of just don't want to do anything. Like I just want my free time and just hang out with my girlfriend, watch TV, and just like do nothing. Just to like get my brain kind of like to relax a little bit. But other than that, I also am like, I'm not a perfectionist, but I just have a certain idea sometimes in my head, and it's just like I just struggle with like how to execute it sometimes. Like it is kind of being like stupid, like the way like pretty much like the perfectionist thing that Gary talks about. Like it is just kind of like out of insecurity, I guess, where like, oh, like I have a lot of TikTok ideas in my head that I wanted to do, but it's just me kind of like thinking, oh, it needs to be in this perfect setting. I need that tree in the background or something stupid like that. But maybe it's just because like I'm just kind of being lazy and just coming up with dumb excuses. But also, yeah, it's just really that, like that's the only thing I really struggle with. Other than that, like once I just actually do it, like I'm just like, oh, that was easy. Like why the hell didn't I just do that? Like so it's just kind of like that push that I need sometimes to actually do it.
So how do you usually work through that? Do you like ask someone for input on something, or do you have like some process for how you?
I mean, if it's something simple, like if it's a simple idea, then I'm more likely to do it. Like my last Instagram/TikTok post, I had to go to the office to like grab stuff for Gary. Like he needed a camera, and I was like, all right, I'll bring my bike. And the trick itself wasn't that hard, and I like the filming of it wasn't that hard. So it was just something. It was a simple idea that I was like, okay, this shouldn't take too long. and like it's not going to take long to edit, but I like the idea also. So I think for me at least, like the less friction and less amount of setup for me at least that is required, the more I'm willing to do it. Where it's like if I wanted to make a huge movie scene of like a TikTok, I'm kind of more like, oh, like I don't want to set all this up right now. And then it's like just for like 2 seconds. That's sometimes a struggle that I go through, at least, unless I'm like really into the idea. But yeah, it's just hard to like want, like even my podcast with me and my girlfriend, like we love doing it, but just setting everything up is kind of a struggle and a friction, just because it's like, oh man, I gotta like spend like an hour basically to set this all up, and it's like, ugh. But yeah, that setup for me is like the biggest friction.
Yeah, I recognize that feeling. Last year I was so I live in a one room apartment, and a lot of the vlog episodes I was recording from home, and I know that it always takes like an hour to put up the lights and everything, and so I decided to just sell my bed and then buy a air mattress and sleep in the hall, so I can build up the studio in my bedroom, so then I can just have it there all the time.
That's great.
So yeah, I mean it worked for a while, and then now I have a girlfriend, so now it's a little bit different. But now we have like a bed sofa here instead, so we can still put it away if we need to.
Yeah, I totally understand that. Like just having the setup already set up is so much like more willing for me to be like, okay, let's just do this. Like, so I completely understand that.
Yeah, I guess it's just about like being flexible, and like you said also, like if you notice that you want to do something and it doesn't get done, just simplify it and don't make it such a big project. Like one thing that is working pretty well for me, if it's something that is bigger than like a couple of hours, then I usually try to break it down into like short sprints. So I work like 90 minutes on something and then like take a break and then work in 90 more minutes, because then like every block of 90 minutes is like one task, and then I can just move those around, so I don't have to have like, oh, I have to have the whole Saturday off to be able to do this. Right. It's just if I have 1.5 hours, I can do step 1 of this thing.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it too.
Yeah.
I think everyone's kind of different, so it's like whatever works for you is just, you gotta, I mean, everyone has to figure out how it works for them.
So what is one thing that you see like small or content creators that is just starting out, like common mistakes that you see that they are doing?
I think just not enough research on the platforms that they're aiming towards trying to make content for. Like if you're making something for Instagram, like you should know, like I see a lot of people uploading like 16:9 videos for IGTV, and yeah, that's easier, I understand, but your window is now this instead of this, and that is a problem, because if I only see this on my phone, I might not notice that, and I might just be like, bye, like, and I never see it again. So people uploading things like that, I think you should reformat it to the right way that people are going to want to keep watching it, like this instead of like this. And so yeah, that's a thing, at least for like Instagram. For TikTok, like I said before, just having too much time. Like I recently, like a lot on my For You page on TikTok, I've been seeing a lot of videos that get 0 likes and stuff, and I'm trying to understand why. And I know, like in the first 2 seconds, like it's just taking too long to like get to the point, and it's like, that's why you get 0 likes. Like no one wants to wait and watch for that. So you really have to understand the platform that you're making your content on. So like my suggestion would be just like look at other people's stuff, figure out styles as far as like how it looks, like physically how it looks, but also the style of how it's edited, and try to like adapt to that a little bit. Don't steal it completely, because then obviously, I mean, I don't think anyone really wants to do that anyway, but just try to like learn and understand why someone edited something a certain way. And so, yeah, I think that's the biggest thing that people aren't doing correctly. Like they just think that, oh, I made this video, it's great, they're going to watch it. Like they're just going to watch it. Then that's not going to happen. Like you really need to adapt to the viewer, not what you like.
Right.
I mean, that's one thing that I think.
Yeah. I'm jumping a little bit back here right now, but I wanted to ask you about the captioning part for the content for Gary. Do you all type in the captions manually, or do you have like a program for it, or how do you do that?
So for a while I was doing it manually, like with the title tool in Premiere, basically just making a title bar and stretching it all the way to the video. How I did it was I cut everything, like I kind of visualize how the sentence is going to look and cut it accordingly as I'm watching the video, then go back and then fill it all in with the sentences, and then have to adjust if I have to. I do that. I got sick of doing that. So then we're using rev.com, rev.com. It's a captioning, I guess, company, business, whatever. It's about like $1.25 a minute per video, like minute of video. It's been good. It's been saving a lot of time. It is kind of on the basic side, in my opinion. Like something that for me, at least, how I edit, I haven't been doing it as much recently, but when I used to edit and have to hand caption everything, I kind of made the captioning part of the video. So like if Gary says like, blah, 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 fuck you, like it would just see the giant fuck you on the screen. Like it's kind of like part of the edit to like kind of make it more impactful.
Yeah.
So I still do that sometimes if it like makes sense to do it. But the only thing with Rev is you get an SRT file. So then it's like it's like already done. So it's like, I'm kind of just like, whatever. But yeah, I mean, for TikTok, we do everything by hand. Just because it's native, it's more native to that style of like how people are doing their own wording and captions on there. But yeah, like we use Rev. There's this new thing that one of our new videographers, Tan, he found. It's called Descript. I haven't tested it myself, but I think it's free. I'm not sure. It looks pretty good. Like it seems like it's pretty accurate. We've used subtitle. I didn't really like that personally, just because there's so many spelling errors and like just adjustment. Like it just took too long for me to like fix everything. So it was like I might as well have just like hand captioned it myself. It would have taken just as long. At least it would have been 99% correct. So it's like I didn't really like that. So yeah, that's really our two options right now, just hand captioning it, or we usually use Rev. I mean, unfortunately it's not free. There is one on the phone. Like I've been hand captioning stuff for Costanzagrams on my phone, like but it's only like 30 seconds, so it's not too much. It's called My Subtitle. I like it. It's just a little bit tedious, but it works well. I like it a lot.
Cool. I'm gonna look up these alternatives and put it in the video description afterwards if people are interested in knowing how they can put subtitles on their videos, because there's a lot of different options of doing it.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of mandatory now. Like we've done some testing where we did videos with no subtitles, and it didn't perform as well as subtitles. So I think especially on Instagram, because it's like auto muted when you watch videos.
Oh.
I mean, unless you unmute it, but like, I think that makes a difference because some people either like to read or they're in a setting where they can't hear it, like work or commuting or something like that. So I think subtitles is important. Almost every video should have it. I even did a test on Cassandragrams. Like I just put out a poll on my stories saying subtitles or no subtitles, and it was 90% people wanted subtitles. I was like, shit.
Right. And that was an account with 500,000.
Yeah, that's, I mean, and it's a meme account where it's like, it's not like Gary's account where people are like watching really in-depth videos. It's like a meme account and people still wanted captions. I was like, fuck, now I have to caption everything. And surprisingly enough, a lot of people that replied were like, yeah, I have they were like deaf or they have like a hearing impairment or something like that. I was like, oh, damn, like, I didn't even think about that. Like, there's a lot of people that have that too. So it's like they can only read it. They can't hear it. So pretty much, yeah, you got to caption everything.
Right. Yeah. So if we are looking a bit into the future, I know it's maybe a bit hard right now in these times, but like, what do you personally have as goals in the next, like, upcoming years? What type of content do you want to create, and do you want to continue working at Vayner Media?
Yeah, I mean, that question, I'm planning to stay with Gary forever. Like, he has completely changed my life, mentally and like career-wise. Like, and I just owe him like my life, in my opinion. And I really do believe he's gonna change the world. I think he's also gonna actually buy the jets. I think he's gonna make it happen. And I just want to be there with him when that happens. As far as content, we're always adapting, changing, just trying to see other people. Like, we watch, like, I'm on Instagram all the time, like, just to see if I see anything new, see anything different, people changing things, trends and stuff like that. So we're always trying to just adapt to like whatever's going on currently. But as for myself, I mean, we're really trying to do the podcast more, just because I like it a lot. Like, even if no one's watching, I don't really care. It's just more like therapy in a way. Like, I just get to like talk because I don't get to talk too much. So it's just nice to like just say things out and just get whatever's on my mind.
Yeah.
So it really is like therapeutic. Like, whatever's in my head, I just kind of like say it out loud and I just feel a little bit better. As far as like other content that I'm making, just pretty much whatever I'm doing. As for Cassandragram, same thing. I mean, on my personal Instagram, I'm trying to like just not care as much like about like will my audience like this or not. Like, I'm trying to just post things that I like, but also not in a selfish way. Like, there's like a little balance between there where like it's not like I'm not gonna post like showing off my car or something like that, but I also just not gonna like I was focusing too much on like trying to make it only BMX content, and I'm trying to like kind of show just like every part of me more, like instead of just focusing on one topic that I'm interested in. So like, and if people like don't like that, that's okay, and if they do like that, that's great too. So it's like I'm just trying not to care too much about, I guess, likes in a way, or like engagement or anything. Just trying to post things that are more valuable to people, but also just some about me also, like not trying to cater to just anyone, like a little bit of both. That's kind of what I'm trying to do.
I guess that's like, that balance is something that a lot of people is thinking about. Like, should I only listen to the viewers and the people following, or should I only focus on what I want to do myself?
Right.
And I think it's like in my opinion, I think you should focus on what you create, the type of content that you want to do, but maybe adapt the format to the platform you're publishing to, and also like the length of the video, like you talked about with keeping the viewers interested? Like, can you still film the same stuff but maybe edit in a different way and make it more like effective or more funny by changing the music, or like small adjustments like that, but still have like the main core what you want to do, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it's really both. Like everything Gary says, everything's both. Like you got to have a right balance of giving value, whether that's educational, entertainment, whatever, but also not like do what you want to do at the same time. But like, I guess the most important thing is just like, what are you trying to achieve? If you're just trying to like, if you're trying to just show every part of your life and you don't care about anything else, like that's fine then. Just show every part of your life. But if you're also trying to build something, a business or something like that, you can't just show yourself and like no one's gonna care. Like, so you gotta like, you gotta figure out what you want first. What you want to do, what your plan is, like what you're trying to achieve, and then just kind of like go backwards from there.
Yeah. The reverse engineering that Gary talks about.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. That's something I feel sometimes myself, that I should like stop and see like the bigger picture, see if I'm going in the right direction or if I'm just continuing creating something because I'm used to it and I'm comfortable doing it, or if it's something I need to adjust along the way.
But I think it's also important to like show your personality, like just whatever you like also, because then it just makes you look less like a robot and less like, like your only goal is trying to like make a business or something. I think showing yourself just makes it more personable. Like, oh, he likes motorcycles. I like motorcycles too. So like just things like that, like just like it does make you more relatable in a way.
Yeah. I mean, it's like they say, people want to do business with other people and not other companies.
Yeah.
So like the human to human aspect of it. And it's also much more interesting to like have a story behind something, not just see like the end result, but what is the person behind that is doing this.
Right. And also you never know, like what if you posting more, I don't know, let's say you're into paintball, let's say like you just posting that a lot more, people like, let's say people were like attracted to that for some reason. It's like, oh, okay, I would have never thought people like this. Now it's like people like this. So you have to like testing is like a big thing. Just gotta test everything.
Right. So we are going into a part of the live episode that I call Final Questions. I don't have a better name for it, so if you have a suggestion for a name for this part, feel free to say it. But anyways, there's some random questions that isn't really connected to each other, so I'm just gonna start from the top.
Cool.
If you had to choose, would you never use a video camera again or never ride a bike?
Man, that's hard.
Put you on
especially
the spot there.
I mean, yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, especially at my age right now.
Yeah.
Because it's like I do love riding my bike a lot, but at the same time, I guess I am willing to not ride just because I'm getting a little older and just trying to like be more careful. But I mean, I still love riding my bike so much. Even the other day when I was just riding around New York City just for myself, that was really fun. But if I absolutely had to, it probably would be my bike, just because I can always do something with my camera. I could always film other people in bike riding stuff. I just think the camera is way more contributable to society than me riding my bike. I guess that's why.
Right. So what's one unexpected thing that you have in your camera bag?
In my camera bag?
Yeah. Is there like something that people don't really would thought that you have?
Not really. I mean, I guess the only thing is I don't have too much. Like, someone tweeted the other day, like, how many SD cards do you have? And I answered 4, and he was like, oh, that's so little. And I was like, I guess just because like I delete a lot of shit. Like if I didn't like I'm very stingy with my memory, my memory cards. I'm like SD cards. So like if I don't like something, I delete it right away and save as much room as I can. Like I don't. That's why I'm not a really huge fan of like time lapses because it just takes up too much room.
Yeah.
So I guess that's one thing. Like I just keep it really minimal. But at the same time, I'm so weird. Like I bring a lot of shit with me that I don't even use. But at the same time, I'm really cheap and minimal. So it's like I'm a huge contradiction. I don't make any sense.
What?
Like I'll bring extra batteries for things that don't even need batteries, but just dumb shit like that.
Yeah. One thing that I always have that is not really camera related, or maybe kind of, is like a bunch of cable ties, like cable straps.
Interesting.
Yeah, I noticed that's a lot of times that's kind of handy to, if it's like cables hanging around or you want to put something up and tie it together to something like a light or something.
That's a good idea, actually.
Yeah,
I might have to do that too.
I think I've been trying like 3 or 4 different types of cable straps from Amazon, just ordering home a bunch and then trying different ones. Yeah. What's this is kind of a similar question, but what non-video related thing do you have on your desk?
I guess my finger bike here, which I've been playing with. Like this is kind of like you know how some people just click a pen when they're doing stuff. Like this is what I do. I just kind of like play with it, even though I'm not really like paying attention to it or anything. Like I am like focusing on this, but at the same time I'm doing that. It's just kind of like my weird little thing that I do.
Do you do like tricks with it also, or?
Yeah. I'm just like I just go like this and stuff. Just go.
Oh.
I'm spinning the bars a lot. I'm doing this a lot. Like this is kind of like my pen clicking thing that I do. But yeah, I do that during the show, like during Tea with GaryVee too.
Okay.
Even though I'm like focusing, but I'm still playing with this in my hand.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it here. Yeah, I don't really have much here. Everything else is just video related.
Yeah. Do you also feel that it's easier to focus on something if you're doing something at the same time?
Yes and no. I think this is just more of a nervous tick thing. But like when I'm doing Tea with GaryVee, I'm like in the zone. Like I'm like really like trying to pay attention because there's just so much going on back there that like I can't even do this. Like there'll be too much. I need like every brain cell I can take.
Yeah. So the next question: if you could eat dinner with anyone in the world, dead or alive, who would that be?
Damn. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. I'm not like, I guess, who would it be? Fuck, I just thought of it. I guess it would be maybe a certain UFC fighter or maybe a Muay Thai fighter that I'm just really interested in. But if not, a stand-up comedian like Mark Norman, I really like. I already met him, but like, it would just be cool to like have. I met him for like a minute, but it would be cool to like just hang out with him and have dinner and just joke around and stuff like that. Just because, I'm like really into stand-up comedy recently, and just kind of like understanding comics. Maybe like Joe Rogan, I guess too. Like that would be cool.
What's one thing that people don't know about you?
I guess that like I mean I kind of show it, I guess, but like I am like really into nutrition. I think that's something that I don't really talk about too much. like I did keto like a year ago for like 7 months. I was just really curious about it, tried it out, really liked it. So yeah, I guess my diet is one thing that people probably don't really know too much about.
Yeah. Do you feel that it's something that helps you in your work as well?
Yeah. When I was doing it really hardcore last year, like it helped me focus a lot, like just not having sugar. Because before that, when I was watching like Gary's footage, I was having a really hard time like understanding what the hell he's talking about. Like I just didn't understand what he was talking about. But maybe it's also just because like with time development, I just understood Gary better. But I think it really did have something to do with the diet, because like I was just like thinking so much clearer. Like I was like, oh, like, and then I'm like rewatching stuff that I saw already. It's like, oh damn, like it makes so much more sense now. Like so I think it did help. I mean, they people claim that it does help. Like I was kind of skeptical on that, but I think it really does help. Like just having pretty much less shitty food like does affect your brain.
And speaking of Vayner, what's one thing that surprised you when you started working there?
I guess just how much Gary worked. Like I was a Gary fan, but I didn't really watch DailyVee that much, or like to the point where like I didn't really know he was that busy, and he's really fucking busy. Like he does work legit 13 hours a day, maybe more, like 16 hours a day. Like he really does. Like, and the fact that he wakes up at like 5 and then goes to sleep at, I don't know, midnight. Not every day, but like a lot. It's just like, damn, I don't know how he does it. Like I'd be so tired. I couldn't do that.
Yeah. If you could give someone a shout out right now, who would that be and why?
I guess it would be my girlfriend, because she's been there with me from the start. And like when I was trying to do the whole YouTube thing on my own, pretty much nobody had faith in me. Like everyone's like, oh, get a job, dude, like stop this shit. And she's the only one that was like, yeah, like she really thought I had something, like really believed in me. And yeah, like pretty much was the only one that was like made me think I had a chance of something. And just supported me with everything. Like I was pretty much broke and she was just like supporting me with everything. And yeah, so shout out to B Luxy. Her name's Kaylee, but her social handle is B Luxy. So yeah.
Right. Cool. That's good to have someone that supports you in what you do.
Yeah.
So the final question is there anything that we can help you with? So me and the people that is watching this episode.
I mean, I guess just sharing like Gary's content. Like the more eyeballs that are on it, the more it'll reach people. If you never heard of GaryVee, aka Gary Vaynerchuk, then please start following him. I think his message is powerful. He's just like, I never thought he was like a snake oil salesman, like how a lot of people think he is. Like I never thought that for some reason, but I know a lot of people do think that, and I think just give him a shot. Try not to go with judging. If you never heard of him, that is. If you do know who he is, just please, just share, talk to your friends about him. Like it's not just us trying to like get more Instagram followers or anything like that. It's just, I think his message is powerful. I think it just benefits people, make you a better person, made me a better person. And I think, yeah, I just want everyone to be a better person, really. Like less dumb shit in the world, less hate, less criticism, like less judgment. Like I think Gary is on that mission to like make that world like that. And I love that. I think, and I would just like to, you know, I think he does it way better than I can. Like I can't send that message. So yeah, follow him, share our content. That's really it. That's all we would want you to do.
Is that a big reason to why you enjoy working at Vayner Media also?
Yeah, I mean, just the fact that like we're changing the world. Like so, and I'm just a part of that. Like I'm not a huge part of it. Like I'm just making content for him, but it's just cool to be part of that and like just seeing just kinder people and like just yeah, like he's just changing everything and it's awesome.
Cool. So finally, I really want to thank you for joining this episode. It was super fun to have you on this live. I'm going to update the video description after this live, put all the links to your social media handles where people can follow you. And if they want to see Tea with GaryVee, you're doing that. Is it if you want to repeat every Monday to Friday?
Yeah, there won't be one tomorrow because it's a holiday in the US.
Right.
But for the most part, it's every weekday, Monday to Friday. Usually 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Not all the time. Sometimes it's like 9:15, 9:30. Kind of depends on like how busy Gary is. But for the most part, 9 to 10 in the morning. And on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, LinkedIn, we're everywhere. So kind of hard to miss.
Yeah. And if people want to ask a question, how do they do that?
So if you're international, the only way is through Twitter. So tweet your question, like straight up, just ask the question with the hashtag Tea with GaryVee. Tag Gary in it just in case, because sometimes Gary sees your tweet and he'll be like, yo, I really like this. Get on. Like he just tags like either me or Zane, be like, hey, bring this guy on the show or something like that. So tag Gary. He does really read a lot of his tweets. It doesn't like, even though he gets a fuck ton, he's looking at that shit. So
yeah.
don't think like, oh, he's never going to see this. Like there's a good chance he will. But if you're in the US, it's 212-931-5731. Same deal. Just text your question in, and yeah, if it's a good question, he'll or we will look at it and contact you. Very unlikely to be on the show if you're trying to pitch your business idea. Very unlikely.
Yeah.
So try to go in with something you really need help with, not trying to gain something for yourself. That's my recommendation.
Cool. All right. Thank you for joining, and thank everyone for watching this episode. I hope to see you,
Thank you,
in the next live episode that is in, I think it's planned 2 weeks from now. So yeah, that's it. Thanks you, and thank Dustin.
Thank you, David.